Okay guys, welcome to this episode. Today we're going to be talking about the British Championships. We've got a special guest.
Very special guest.
And we'll also talk about the English girls briefly.
But before we go any further, we need a name. Now, Championship Athletics is fine.
Is
we
what we
like
do.
the anchor leg. We do like the anchor leg, but we want a few more suggestions. So if you look up here, follow the link and help us out, yeah?
Right, okay, first straight into it, we're doing the British Championships this weekend. Highlights, guys.
Well, 2 British records.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that's
Isabel
great.
Pooley was
And Tom
amazing.
Bosworth in the walk, which doesn't get enough attention.
It was good interview, that guy, wasn't it?
I think Shara Proctor's long jump. We said the long jump would be good.
Yep.
Wasn't much of a competition because she put it out of the way in the
Well,
first
also
round.
it started pissing down, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see poor KJT with the
And the 5,000 metres at the same time.
Yes,
That's the worst.
Steph 12.
Steph 12 ran
It's
really
lovely
well.
to see her back, and she did run really well. Dina, obviously, we knew Dina was going to be
Was
awesome.
it 11.08?
Yeah.
British record as well?
No, but she did it
No,
championship
into a
record.
minus,
Record,
and,
sorry.
and then the semi-final was into a minus 0.3, wasn't it?
And she
Or
broke
minus
Evelyn
3.
Ashford's championship record as well. But for me, the performance of the weekend was Laura Muir.
Yeah.
When she threw them a 60-second, she threw them a 60-second in the middle.
Yeah. It was a 59-second lap to break everyone up in that.
It was
Fantastic
just
to watch.
amazing to watch.
And what's lovely to see is a British middle distance runner with that commitment,
Yeah.
you know, who isn't afraid to go out there, isn't afraid to blow up because she's confident in herself, but she's not going to.
Let's be fair, second place wasn't a bad athlete. Like,
No, not at all.
Laura Waitman's world class.
Absolutely, yeah.
So to do that to her in that kind of race was fantastic.
But there was none of this dilly-dallying around at the back, wondering what other people are going to do.
Yeah.
She knew her race plan, as she did earlier in the year in Bislett, was it?
Yeah.
And she just went and did it. It's fantastic to see.
I personally like Carl Langford, 800 metres,
Well,
19 years
that's
old.
a perfect example of what Bayer was just saying about Laura Muir. There was a lot of people in that race who were probably going into it as more favourites than Carl Langford, but they didn't run a race to suit themselves.
It was a terribly messy race. It
Yeah.
was
Don't remember that messy. It was so fucking slow. And that's why it was messy. And when it's messy like that, unexpected people can win. And he took his opportunity. I mean, he's a very good athlete anyway. So it's not like it was totally out of the realms of possibility that he would win anyway.
Yeah.
But he did really, really well.
So we have a kind of a special guest come on this week. It was the Paris Diamond League last weekend. Some great performances there. Stood out for you at the Diamond League.
That was the best Diamond League that I can remember. There was a great one last year as well, I think. But this is what a Diamond League should be.
Yeah,
you know, we
okay.
should be excited. You should be watching, you know, with rapt attention. You'd be screaming at the screen, as I was on multiple
Properly
occasions.
screaming.
You know, properly screaming. In fact, some things I watched back again, it's still screaming. But that's what a Diamond League should be like. Not this kind of like wishy-washy. Like,
And also, it's compact, lots of things happening, lots of big names competing against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually set up a world record attempt in the women's 5,000. And there's been a few this year, some very fast times. But they got the 2 main protagonists to compete against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very strange race. Some of the weirdest pacing I've ever seen. But to come out and have run 14:15 off of that pace shows how amazing Genzebi Dibaba is, and I mean, up there with her sister, possibly.
Definitely.
And off the back of that, obviously, she's run a really fast 1500 yesterday in Barcelona. 3:54.
That's probably one of it is. Was it 10th on the all-time list?
I think it's like that. I think it's 9th.
9th.
But,
So
I mean,
above her, the guys who competed in those events, Chinese athletes from back in the 1980s.
I mean, there is an argument that she's now the world record holder, but
So
let's
Jaeger,
That's going to call him Jägermeister.
The Jägermeister is one of the best technically.
Evan Jaeger, he technically he was awesome. He's obviously in very good form this year. He's run 3:32 over 1,500 metres.
Yeah.
But to take it to Kenyans, I think a lot of people are scared.
He was doing a 56 probably.
Yeah.
Low 57. He was just tired. That's what it was.
He's so
People were
tall as
talking
well. I
about-
just thought like he just like fell over himself.
I mean,
I
a
think
little
he
bit,
was just fucked, to be honest.
tired, but also
Yeah,
it's just
it
that just tiny lack of concentration.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're right, he is tall and he could easily hurdle that, but he'll know better next.
This week we actually have someone from that Diamond League in Paris on today's show.
We have a very, 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 very special guest. This lady did compete at Paris last week. It was the first time she got beaten in 56 competitions. She's the athlete of the year. It is the incomparable greatest of all time, Valerie Adams.
Hi there guys, this is Valerie Adams here, shot putter from New Zealand. So I had surgery on my elbow and my shoulder in September, end of September last year. They basically moved my nerve from the bottom, ulnar nerve from the bottom to the top, cut a hole through my muscle, and the ulnar nerve is what works these two fingers at the end of here. So it took me a little while to come back from that one because it was nerve damage and tendon damage. I really had to take the time to be able to recover to come back. I didn't have any feeling in my top of my finger, on my hand here, and still don't now, but you know, working through that. Shoulder, pretty straightforward. They cut 2 centimeters off my clavicle. I have had it done before on this side, so that's what was happening there. This year, definitely a lot longer to come back to competition mode, but c'est la vie, it's life, and I look forward to the challenge. Now, my thoughts on the Paris Diamond League, and that was my first competition. I took a big risk competing there, but I enjoyed it. I loved being out there. It was a hard competition for me mentally. I felt that I was ready to throw something better than I did, but I'm glad I've started the ball rolling, and I'm just looking forward for the next competitions to come and making sure that I'm prepared a lot better mentally for that. What I do need to do to improve for Beijing is basically keep training and working on what we're working on at the moment. Our strength levels are definitely better now than what they were 6 months ago. I couldn't even lift a bar, so I'm pretty happy with where we are at the moment, but it's just a matter of making sure that we continue in the same path that we're in. Now, what can we do to improve field coverage on TV? Basically just show it, put us on during primetime television. Now, it's very sad that, you know, live TV goes out at 8 o'clock and we've already finished competing at 6 o'clock. I think it's time for organisers out there to showcase throwing, because there is a lot of exciting competitions out there, namely women's hammer, women's discus is good, javelin throws, I think all the throws, women's shot put is good at the moment. You know, they've got a few girls out there, men's shot, so hopefully they could do their best to showcase our sport and showcase field events more and more as they continue to show athletics. So that's all from now. Peace out.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a kind of a
world exclusive.
Yeah. So
Right here, on our little show.
It's so fun. But one thing she talked about was the field events.
And literally there's a demographic for absolutely everybody in the world, all shapes, all sizes. We must be really, it's really important to promote sport to everybody, to make it inclusive. So we need to promote women, we need to promote strong women who maybe not the norm of what people want to use to promote, but for me that's the best thing about athletics. Everybody can see something of themselves in it. And like you said, Finland javelin is the biggest event.
So do you think it's a role of, say, I love hiring a PR agency, or I love hiring an outside entity to come in and try and make them more... Like, exactly, they might well do, but they're not very good at it.
No, they're not. I've been appalling at it. Nothing's integrated either. It's just like, we're doing a gala, but who cares? It's all things that I feel like self-promotion rather than promoting the athletes and the sport to people who are interested. There's absolutely no interaction with fans.
Well, I think if you teach the athletes themselves how to self-promote, which people don't do. Bit of a review. Talking about the future of the sport, we have the English schools, and Scott is going to commentate for Vinco this weekend on the championships. He's going to be next up to talk about that.
Hi guys, it's the English Schools Championships this weekend in Gateshead, which will be live on Vinco Sport from Friday the 10th of July at around about 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview now of 4 of the events that I think could be red hot this weekend. Starting off with the Intergirls 300 metres, there's 3 athletes entered who have all gone under 40 seconds this year. Orla Brother, she's the UK number 2 and fastest in the field with 39.6 personal best in 2015. Behind her by only 600 is Ellie Grove. And then there's Esther Adikpay from the West Midlands. All 3 of those girls are in 0.3 of a second of each other, so we could see a first sub-39 second clocking in 2015. Then there's the Intergirls 1500 metres. Sabrina Sina, she's the 2014 Intergirls champion, so she'll be looking to retain her title this year. There's also KTM MacDonald, if you remember the 2014 English Schools Championships. She caused a bit of controversy. She was DQ'd in the final for a bit of a lane violation and an illegal move in the last sort of 50 metres. Both of these girls are around 4 minutes 22 seconds in 2015, so they'll be looking to push towards that 4 minute 20 barrier in the final on Saturday. Then there's the senior boys 400 metres. We saw Danny Gray run a huge personal best of 47.23 seconds at the British Championships last weekend, and that puts him big favourite as the only one in the field with a time sub 48 seconds. Then there's Cameron Chalmers of the Channel Islands, 48.03 seconds, and Matthew Pagan, he's a 2014 under 17 silver, and he also got the England under-20 silver a few weeks ago in Bedford. So both of those two, Chalmers and Pagan, will be looking to break that 48-second barrier, but we'd expect Danny Gray to come away with the gold on Saturday. And then there's finally the senior boys 200 metres. It could be really interesting head-to-head between two of the guys who have been picked for the GB Juniors team in the 200 metres. Tommy Ramdan, 21 seconds dead this year, and then there's Freddie Owsley, he's run 21.12 seconds. Both of those two will be representing GB at the European Juniors in Sweden next month. So it could be a really close battle between those two. Watch out for Jordan Broom of the West Midlands as well. He's got a best of 21.36 this year, so it could be in contention for a medal. Don't forget, tune into Vinco Sport this weekend, Friday and Saturday, for the English Schools Championships. Until next time.
Talking about the IAAF and promoting field events and the way they promote. I mean, British athletics have a lot to answer for as well. I mean, the trials, there were some good performances that obviously take the headlines, but the crowds were not good at all.
They weren't busy at the crucial times for the main events, and I'm not going to criticise the people working for UK athletics or British athletics right now, because that's not their job. Like, they had to do what they do. It's just a general thing, and you said some points
But
before
they do
about,
promote the meetings now.
Yeah.
Fast Track don't promote them, so it is their job.
They do it in-house, but it's not the people who are doing
Not
the
individual
jobs.
people, no.
It's the overall structure of
Exactly,
it. Needs to be-
But here's something very pertinent, I think. We didn't go.
Yeah.
No.
We always used to go.
Why didn't you go?
Because what's the point?
Why?
Because there's no competition. It's
Okay.
it's a trials to get to the World Championships. I probably could have written the team beforehand.
Yeah.
And
So you think
The selection criteria is so complicated that if you win, you're not going because you haven't got two, and maybe you are going. And people don't turn up. Mo didn't go.
No, but I loved Steve Cram trying to explain it on TV. He was like, give up, mate.
Try his best on.
But for a start, there's the women's sprints. We were like, oh great, the women's sprints are so strong this year. Where was everybody?
Yeah.
Some people are injured. Some obviously people are split between the two events. We've got the under 23s on, so there's lots of conflicting things.
Yeah, the F1.
Some people are at Silverstone.
I mean, there's different things going on. So, like what you said before was getting these athletes to come to the championships and make it kind of their main focus for the year.
Has to be.
But not necessarily actually competing, but being there and being a part of things.
If you're injured, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
We've seen, have your pictures taken with the kids.
Hand out a medal.
Hand out the medal.
I know
Exactly.
Richard Kilty was there signing autographs and being part of it and helping out with the kids events, and the athletes are doing it to some extent, but like
that's
not
fine.
everyone shouldn't have to be there.
It shouldn't be an ad hoc if an athlete decides to turn up.
They're all on funding.
Yeah.
And yet they seem to pick and choose what they want to do. You're on
You need to be
funding.
there, you know.
You don't go to the European Cup because you're not ready or you've got a niggle. You don't go to the trials because you're not ready or you've got a niggle. Or you're offered some training somewhere or other.
Yeah.
So what are you going to go to? Just pick and choose the things that just go to the championships and promote yourself. You've got to promote the whole sport, and it is incumbent not just on the governing body, although it is their duty to make sure this happens, but the athletes have to give as well.
The athletes should look in those stands and think, oh shit.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh shit, in 5 years' time, where's my paycheck coming from?
Exactly.
You know? Because if no
That
one's
is
watching,
literally
if
it.
it gets taken off the BBC, you're fucked, mate.
Yeah. No, it's true. They're done. Right, okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week, hopefully discuss some more athletics related talking and
With some more special guests.
more special guests.
And don't forget, new name please.
Yeah, new name, Link.